Testimony of God's timing, heartbreak, and the redwood stump. 17 years ago, there was a woman I cared for. Life didn't bring us together then. She went her way, I went mine. We both lived through relationships, marriages, and divorce. Over those years, there were 3 different times we almost came together, but it just never happened. 17 years later, I almost didn't reach out again. I told myself not to bother, but at the last moment, something inside me said, call her. So I did, and she answered. That night, she came over to my house. We sat in the hot tub, had some drinks, and what happened between us wasn't just passion, it was connection. It was like all those years of mistiming came full circle. We decided to get engaged. Not long after, we found out she was pregnant, her first child. It felt like God was finally opening the door we had been waiting on for so long. But then life took a hard turn. Things between us broke down and the engagement ended. I had to move out, and the breakup hit me hard. It was confusing. Why would God bring us together in such a powerful way, only for it to fall apart? That's when something extraordinary surfaced. On her property sat a massive old-growth redwood stump. At first, it was just part of the land, but I began to learn more about it. This wasn't any ordinary stump. It was so large that it had stood for 1,500 to 3,000 years. That meant this tree had been alive when Jesus himself walked the earth. And suddenly, I understood. The timing of finding that stump, after the breakup, after the heartbreak, was no coincidence. It was a message. That stump had survived fire, storms, centuries, even millennia. It was a living witness to history itself. And here it was, on her land, revealed to me only after everything fell apart. That tree became a symbol of endurance, that just because something breaks doesn't mean God's work is finished. Of faith, that God's plan stretches across thousands of years, far beyond what we can see in the moment. Of God's timing, that what seems like loss may actually be setting the stage for a deeper lesson or blessing. For her, a church-going woman, having something tied directly to the biblical era on her property is deeply meaningful. For me, it was like God saying, even when your plans fall apart, my creation and my story endure. What I set in place thousands of years ago still stands. Trust me with your life, because my timeline is greater than yours. In the end, our story wasn't just about a relationship, or even the engagement and pregnancy. It was about God showing me that his hand is in everything. The missed chances, the connection, the heartbreak, and even the discovery of a tree older than the Bible itself.